All right, y'all, it is the weekend, and if you are serious about this trading life, just know that this prep starts way before the opening bell on Monday. My husband and I trade together every single day, and on this episode, we're going to be walking you through our 5-step routine we use every single weekend to stay sharp, focused, and ready. This is what's been working for us, and if you're trying to build a real consistency in your trading, this is where it starts. So take what fits and find your own rhythm. Come on, let's go ahead and start this podcast. A lot of people do not take advantage of the weekends, right? There's so much gems if you really take the time to just sit down and analyze your whole week. And I just figured this will be a great topic to talk about because a lot of people are trying to figure out, what do I do on the weekends? Where do I go? What do I do? There's a lot of new beginners out there.
Yeah, and they need to know what to do. So we have 5 things that we normally do.
And I
over the
figured let's go ahead and
weekend.
do it. Let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
let's talk about it.
All right. So the first thing that I do is a weekly recap.
Yeah,
We talk about what happened in the market, what's going on. But I look from a broader perspective. So I start off with SPY, QQQ, DIA. What's going on?
yeah. As far as like news, what's gonna happen during the week? I always prep and see what's gonna happen. Is there gonna be any earnings or like any volatility? Is the president gonna speak? Is there FOMC? Is there CPI? Those are things that's gonna make the market move. So you want to know what's gonna happen so you could prepare yourself for those.
Yeah, what format? Where do you go? If they're looking for news, where should they go?
I always use Forex calendar.
Yes.
So Forex factor calendar is what I use, and I'll just have it up, and for the week it will show me what happened for the week or what's gonna go on for the week.
Yeah, and we always prep that. We look at that, even though we see it for the week, but we always look at it every day before we get on a trade or get on live, because you guys know we trade live just as well. We look at that just to make sure, because that volatility could be crazy, and you got to figure out, am I going to trade at 9:45, 10 o'clock? I may not trade at all. Depends on who's
Yeah,
speaking.
I always say sometimes you wait. You don't go ahead and trade. Sometimes if you know that there's a news gonna come out, a lot of times you don't want to be in that trade because it can completely go the other way. Technical analysis or not, it can go the other way based on news because you might be thinking, all right, the numbers are gonna be good. Numbers come out bad. It goes the opposite direction. So those are things that you have to pay attention to. If there's news coming out, you just want to be more careful.
Yeah, and overall, I look at, is it an inside week? What's going on? What's trending? Is there any reverse? Basically, what is the overall vibe? That's what I want to know. Are
Yep.
we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we chopping around? What are we doing?
Yep.
So that's what we do. We do a weekly market recap. That's the first thing. The second thing that we do is sector breakdown. Now, this is where's the money flowing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That is my thing. I think it's
I'm gonna say
Which-
that's completely her thing because with me, I have my set list that normally I look at, but she learned from different people, and one of her mentors kind of got her into that in the
Yes.
beginning.
And I love it.
That for her. And I actually love it because she will come back in with some good trades, actually.
Yes. So basically what we do in the sector breakdown, because we want to know where's the money flowing, what's going on. I look at the ETF charts. So we're looking at what is the financial market doing? What is the energy? What is healthcare? What is tech doing? I look at all of that, right? Is there any setups about to happen in those particular? So I'm looking at monthly, weekly, daily. I'm looking at all of that. I think the sectors are very important to look at. Sometimes you don't know. Maybe that sector is, just an inside week. And then it's like, dang, why these stocks ain't really moving like they
Yep.
should be, right? Because that's not where the money is at. We want to play where the money is at because that's where you get those big push. That's where you get, because sometimes like, what if technology is down, but everybody's running to healthcare and you're like, dang, why is healthcare running? Because that's where they're pumping the money.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that because you didn't analyze the sectors. You didn't see what was going on. So I think it's really good to know where the money is actually flowing.
Yeah, you gotta look up the sectors, and the good thing is you're looking for breakouts, right? So if something happens, then you're ready for those breakouts.
Exactly. And you could play those just as well. But then I'm going to go into those and look at, okay, what's going on within that sector? And I'm going to look at all the stocks that's within that sector. And that comes with discipline. And for me, in our trading view, I have my sectors, but then also within my sectors, I have the list of like what stocks are in those sectors.
Yeah.
So I'm just going directly there. If I'm looking at, this particular sector, I'm looking to see all all of them. And
Yes.
then I just play off of that.
So, for example, if you're looking at the financial sector, then we're looking at, all right, you're looking at stocks
Yeah, the
that's like the
banks, what's
bank
going
stocks.
on. So
Yeah,
we'll
you
look
want
at
to
all
look
of
at
that.
those. So, it's just different things. So, when you're looking at the different sectors, you could see where the money's flowing. And then from that, you could be like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'm going to be focusing on this sector for the week.
Yeah, but that brings me to our third step, which is building a watch list. It's
Yeah,
very important to build a watch list, but you could only build a watch list if you've done the homework,
you have
if
to do
you've
the
done
homework.
the work. And within that, first of all, some watch lists are way too long. Figure out your top 3 to 5. That's really all that you need. You don't need to have 20 things on a list. It's overwhelming, it's stressful, especially as a new beginner and you're like, all of these alerts are going off so much. Just pick your top 3 to 5. And that may look different. Why? Because you did your sector analysis, you figured out what you're going to look at. So, and then I add those alerts on within those sectors. So if I'm seeing, okay, you know what? This is what's happening. Apple is breaking out. Okay, well, guess what? Apple's on my list, right?
Hmm.
I put the alert in, I mark the key levels. I do the work that's necessary in building that, you know, list.
Yeah, having the watch list is great. Like now, for me, my watch list is more when people come in, they'll be like, "Yo, why you have so much on your watch list?" I have it on my watch list because some of those are plays that I'm looking at for a leap, or I'll be watching that stock to purchase it if it dropped down to a certain level. So I'll still keep it on my watch list. Now, as far as trading wise, I have my particular stocks that I like to trade. I like to trade stuff with volatility,
Mhm.
not a big spread, especially when you're talking about options. I don't like things with big spreads. If it has big spreads, then I'm in and out quick of those,
Yeah.
right? But you have to pay attention to those. Pick your top 3 to 5, like she said, and just work with those. Married to it, get
Yes.
married to those stocks and learn the habits, learn what it's gonna do, right? And then you set your alerts on those. So if you see a play on it, maybe you're not playing it all the time, but when you see the play on it, when you see the breakout, or when you see the A1 setup or whatever you like, once that happens, then you go ahead and you just take it.
Having your alerts are very important because when that bell rings on Monday, there's so much going on, and you might think you need to look at Google, but then you also have Apple, then you got AVGO,
Hmm.
then you got all this stuff going on. Whereas your alerts, it's like, hey, little reminder, don't forget me over here. I'm going off. It's time to take this trade or look
Yep.
at me. And then we write our notes within that. So we just know what's going on. We don't just put an alert and we don't know why we put the alert. We actually indicate, well, there's a reversal, there's a continuation, there's
Mhm.
certain things that's happening. So it's very important when you're setting your alerts to know why you're setting the alerts, because come Monday or Wednesday, far less let your alert go off on a Wednesday and you're like, damn, I don't even remember what happened on Sunday. So now it's just a good little reminder for you.
Yeah, making sure you have your notes, and then on top of that, you want to make sure that you mark key levels. Which, when you mark your key levels, that's when your alerts is gonna go off.
Hmm.
And it's very important that you mark the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. You look at those. Some people trade off of a certain time frame, whether it's 4 hour as well. But you just want to make sure that you're marking your key levels. What are the areas of resistance? What are
Hmm.
the areas of support? Do you see a trend line on a downtrend? And if it hit that line again, then you're gonna short it.
Oh, yeah.
Those are certain things that you want to make sure that you have in place and set your key levels up, have your alerts on those. And then when it's ready to take the trade, then you take the trade.
That's why it's important to find the right indicators so it shows up on your computer for you. So you do a little bit less work, right? But that takes homework, that takes time just as well. So the fourth thing that we do is self review.
Hmm.
What did we do good and what did we do bad? We don't just focus on the bad all the time, but what about the good that we did? Why did we take that trade? What happened? How did we feel? Right? So I think that's important to self-reflect.
You have to, because if you don't, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You get what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
you have to sit down and review, all right, what happened last week? What can I change from last week going into this week? Those are all preparation for your week. So you have to make sure that you're
Mhm.
constantly reviewing what you're doing, whether it's good or bad. So a lot of people focus on the bad all the time, but remember this. when you're cutting, when you discipline enough to cut your trades quick,
Yeah.
then now you want to look at what did you do good. So now you can focus on the good. Don't always focus on the bad and be like, oh, I got these trades right, I don't need to review them. Review your good trades and see why you did it right, why you got it right.
Yeah. So, did you follow your trading plan? That's a question to ask. So, you got to ask yourself questions when you're doing these self reflection. And if it's you and your spouse, that's even better. So, my husband and I, we sit down. Well, we've always talked no matter what, but we always sit down and we ask, okay, did we follow our trading plan today? If we followed our trading plan, kudos. If we said our stop loss was here, our stop loss was here. If we said our take profit was here, it was here. Did we follow that? Did we take any emotional trades? Because, sometimes you get a little FOMO, even if you're years in, like, man, did I really need to get into that trade? Why did I get into that trade? So you really, it's kind of like journaling, and you're talking about it and you're discussing it. Did I take profit too soon? Did I hold a trade too long?
Did you hold a trade too long?
Like those things really matter. And I just think having that self-reflection is going to get you far, because yes, it's good to have a good strategy, but it's also good to know, like, okay, I did what I was supposed to do. And I think if you have discipline and consistency, you'll go a lot further.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you do those. So again, it would be a disservice to you, because if you think about it, when you're taking your trades, I my thing now is when I take trades, it's always before I take the trade, I know where I'm getting out. I know where my stop loss is. I have to, because that way, all right, if it hits here, I'm out no matter what. Now with options, it's different, and I will always talk about this. With options, it's different from Forex. Options, it's like you don't know how much you're going to lose because your stop loss is at a certain level. Versus with Forex, with futures, you already know how much you're going to lose, how much your take profit is. So it's a little bit different. So as far as percentage, you could go off a percentage as well. But when you go off a percentage, then you might take a trade and you might be down and you hit your percentage, but it don't hit the stop loss that it need to. And one of those trades actually happened to me this week, right? It didn't hit Meta. It was Meta.
It was Meta.
It didn't hit the stop loss. My original stop loss,
on the
it never
15
hit
minute,
the stop
it never
loss,
hit that.
right? But I got out anyway. And those are the things, but it did break the 15 minute.
It went way past where I'm telling you, that was a money trade. He was right there, but he got out a little too soon.
Yeah. So the thing is, you just have to follow your trading plan. Now, was I upset about the trade? A little bit, right? Because it did show a reversal on the 15 minute, but the original trade, my stop loss never hit.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the things that you have to be comfortable with. You have to be comfortable with taking a loss. And then if you see the trade happen again, if you see the breakdown happening again in your direction, you take the trade.
Yeah.
Right.
You do. Play what the chart gives you. That is my motto. I stand behind it. I always say this on the lives: play what the chart gives you. Okay. Sometimes we get like, oh my God, it's supposed to be this, it's supposed to do that. But then it reverse. Just play what the chart gives you. It will save you so much headache and money.
Yep. So the last one I think would be mindset.
Mindset
prep. You gotta make sure that you prep yourself for the week. And that comes in different formats, right? You could do it where you're saying, listen, if I feel a certain way this week, if I'm going through something emotional, if somebody's in the hospital, if I'm going through a breakup, if I'm sick, then I don't trade.
Correct.
Because those things can hinder you or make you make the wrong decision, right? You're not thinking straight. So those things can kind of mess up your trading and you do something emotionally. So with that, another thing for mindset prep is you journal.
Yeah.
Make sure you journal. I'm big into reading right now, right? Being disciplined and reading. And when you're reading, it has to be something that's inspiring, not nothing that you're reading about whales or Moby Dick or nothing like that. You get what I'm saying? You're reading something that's self-improvement, right? Psychology. You read something about trading that you could improve yourself.
But trading and lifestyle go hand in hand when it comes to like discipline and certain things of that nature. Like having a routine in place, waking up at 5 a.m., working out, doing certain things. Because when you start working on your personal, it definitely comes over on the professional side.
Yeah.
So for me, another thing for mindset, I gotta have a clean space. There's no ifs, ands, and buts.
Hmm.
Like come Monday or any beginning of a trading day, my space gotta be clean. Office, house, because when you feel good, you trade a little bit different. You can't trade in clutter and mess. So basically, what I'm trying to say, if your house is dirty, pause this video and go clean your house. All right? Go do a little vacuum, shine a little table, dust off, clean your house, clean your space. Maybe your office needs a new revamp. I'm not telling you to go out there and spend money and buy new tables and use what you have, but clean it.
Yeah.
Take pride in what you got. Clean it a little bit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And my biggest thing is you got to pray.
Yeah, we pray.
Every time I start my trading day, I pray. I give thanks for just waking up this morning.
Yeah.
Give thanks for the opportunity to trade, to help people make money, and of course to trade beside my beautiful wife.
Yay.
So, you gotta give thanks. You gotta give praises, and you gotta say, listen, you know what? There's times when I felt like quitting, but God gave me the energy and the strength to keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's great. Because it's just like we do business meetings with God all the time. And your trading career is a business. So don't let anybody say anything about your little business. No, it is a business, right? And you have to treat it such. So if you want to take this seriously, show up like it's like it's real. If you say, okay, I don't want to work a 9 to 5, I want to do this, then get up. Get dressed like if you're going to work. Put yourself together. Brush your teeth. Do your hair. I know a lot of people say, oh, I want to trade because I want to be able to sit in my robe. And great, you can. But if you feel differently when you dress and you're prepped and you're sitting in front of the market early. Do you agree?
Yeah. And all of this comes to being disciplined.
Yeah.
When you break it down, it's being disciplined.
It is.
Because if you're not disciplined in your trading plan, if you're not disciplined in prepping, if you're not disciplined as far as mindset, if you're not disciplined as far as going over what your mistakes are, then you're just losing out. Now that also starts with your lifestyle. So when you're starting with your lifestyle, are you disciplined in your lifestyle? If you're not disciplined in your lifestyle, you're not going to be disciplined in your trade.
Drop the mic on that one,
So
baby.
with that said, guys, really appreciate you joining us on this podcast.
We have so many new followers that are following you guys. We just started this channel and we just wanted to add value to each and every one of you that are coming in. So please take a moment, share the video if you see with a family or friend that might be new into trading or interested. Don't forget to like, comment, and just let us know, what are some things that you want to learn, and we can definitely bring it onto the podcast and have these open discussions because each one teach one.
There you go.
All right, guys. We'll see you next one. Bye.